Hello, Casey from Top Form Design here. So let's get right into it. First, you want to remove the 3 screws that are holding in the Peloton monitor. And there is before you can move the monitor, you need to remove the data cord. It's connected down here. So you'll just pull that out. It's just a Type-C data cord. Push it through the slot in here, and you'll be able to pull those bars out after you remove the screws. So removing the screws, you want to make sure your wrench, you're going to turn counterclockwise. You want to make sure your wrench is nice and perpendicular to that axis so you don't strip those screws out. If those screws are tight, it helps to have a little impact wrench such as this with a proper 5mm hex in wrench on the end of it. And you can hammer those things out of there like this if you have one. It'll pull them out if they get tight. Sometimes we have seen them tight from the factory. Sometimes it helps. You have a lot of weight on this monitor, so it helps to pull and get that pressure off that screw so you can get these things out of there, and you can usually remove them by hand. It also helps to have a person helping you with this task. All right, I got the 3 screws removed. I'm just gonna pull the monitor straight up and out. Careful with that data cord. It should pull right up out of there, and you'll have it like this. Now this data cord, we're gonna use a separate data cord for our install. So this data cord, what we can do, set your Peloton monitor on a safe surface. You're gonna roll this data cord up in a nice tight coil and push it up into this stem. Just like that, so it's out of the way. We have you'll use the 3 8mm provided cap screws and the 6mm hex wrench. Now it is easier with the adjuster to move it all the way forward. Makes it a little easier to access the screws. You'll slide her in down to the column and hand start all the screws before you tighten any of them. Start with the front one. Got them all hand started, you're gonna snug them up with your 5mm in wrench. Snug up the front one first, then the 2 sides. Just snug them a little bit, and then you can really make them tight using this end. You want to get them fairly snug so this thing's solid on it when you're riding. Once that's tight, you can insert the handlebars. This is fairly heavy, so you could use some help, or just make sure you have a good hold of it. Slide her down into the adjuster. And you're gonna use the provided 8mm cap screws and the 6mm hex wrench. Just like the bottom, hand start all the bolts. Now it's beneficial, this wants to lean on you. You have to get some of that weight off that front end to get these started. Otherwise it is a little difficult. Once you've gotten them all hand tightened, you're ready to snug everything down. Take that weight off the front end and tighten the first one, the front first one. Tighten the front one first, and then the 2 back ones. Snug them up nice and tight. Okay. Now we'll put the data cord on. We provided Type-C to Type-C data cord. And so what you need to do is come up here to the monitor, and there's a little Peloton symbol. You're gonna pull that data cord out. This is the data cord we already removed. You can let it dangle, or you can let it plug it into this bottom port. It's just a excess port that Peloton has in there. It's not in use. You can plug it in there to get it out of the way, or just wrap it up here. Then we'll plug in our data cord. And then we're gonna snake this down to right below the column here and plug in the data cord down there. Of course, you're gonna wanna make sure your Peloton's off before you do this. And once it's on, you can use the provided velcro strap and get this data cord out of the way for better aesthetics. Your adjuster is installed, so you'll want to make sure there's no movement. Sometimes these bolts can come loose during install. You'll want to check these, snug these bolts. They sometimes can come loose after install, but once you tighten them, they're good to go. With the base plate of the adjuster, we have some additional holes in here that allow for more adjustment forward or aft. In these two holes, there's 4 holes here. It'll be delivered to you in the 2 center holes, which is neutral. If you move these 2 bolts to these 2 holes here, you can get an additional 1.5 inches approximately closer to you. And likewise, moving them to these 2 holes will give you an additional 1.5 inches forward. It is best to move the handlebars, taking some of this weight, this leverage off of this. So you can either use your elbows like that and then pull up here and slide her back. It doesn't take much, just a little bit. You can see the movement, pretty easy to do. Or you can go to the front and grab this as leverage too. It doesn't take much to move it to lift this up off that weight. Once you get it in the spot you want, tighten your handle clamp down, and you're good to ride. If you have any questions, we're always available, myself or Russ. Thank you.